For Australians, walk into 4 banks today. One needs $65,000 a year. One needs $200,000. One needs $350,000. And one of them isn't earning a salary at all. They're all about to own a house. The gap between them isn't luck. It's not even hard work. It's something almost nobody explains properly, and by the end of this video, you'll know exactly which one of these 4 people you actually are. Let's set the scene first, because the numbers only make sense once you see the backdrop. The RBA cash rate sits at 4.35% in mid-2026, after 3 hikes earlier this year. The average owner-occupier variable rate is sitting around 5.98%. National prices have flatlined. Sydney actually dipped 0.9% last month. Melbourne, Canberra, and Hobart are softer than 6 months ago. But Brisbane, Perth, and Adelaide are still climbing. Here's the part that should bother you. Prices cooling by 1% changes almost nothing, because wages haven't caught up with a decade of growth. A softer market still locks out almost the same number of people. So even with prices easing slightly, the maths you're about to hear still bites just as hard. Let's start at the bottom. $250,000. In 2026, that sounds almost fictional. The combined capital city median house price has now crossed $1 million. $250,000 feels like something your parents paid, not something you can buy today. But these homes still exist. You just won't find them where you're looking. Regional Tasmania. Outback Queensland mining towns. Pockets of regional South Australia. Small towns scattered across Western Australia, hours from Perth. Here's the maths. A 20% deposit means $50,000 saved, plus roughly $10,000 in stamp duty and legal fees. Your loan sits at $200,000. At today's average rate near 5.98%, that's about $1,200 a month over 30 years. A single person on $65,000 a year can comfortably service that loan, even after the bank stacks on its 3% safety buffer, pushing the test rate close to 9%. So yes, a $250,000 home is genuinely doable on a single, modest, full-time wage. But here's the trade nobody mentions out loud. You're not buying a house. You're buying a town. And that decision quietly reshapes your career, your social life, and your future capital growth for years. There's an upside too, though. Owning outright in your early 30s, even somewhere small, frees up cash most city dwellers won't see until their 50s. That spare cash becomes the seed money for shares, side businesses, second properties, exactly how a lot of wealthy Australians actually got started. Now double it. $500,000. This is a completely different conversation. Outer Adelaide. Regional Victoria. Hobart's outskirts. Regional New South Wales. The more affordable pockets of Perth and Brisbane that haven't caught the boom yet. A 20% deposit here means $100,000 cash, plus around $20,000 in costs. The $400,000 loan costs roughly $2,395 a month. To pass the bank stress test, you need household income somewhere between $95,000 and $110,000, depending on your debts and dependents. A single person on an above-average salary can just stretch into this tier. But it's far more comfortable for a couple, 2 people earning $55,000 to $60,000 each, sailing through with room to spare. Here's the twist most people don't know about. The expanded 5% deposit scheme. No income caps. Unlimited places. Open to every first home buyer. That means $25,000 saved instead of $100,000 for the exact same $500,000 home. Sounds like a cheat code. It's not free, though. A smaller deposit means a bigger loan, which means more interest paid over the life of the mortgage. The door opens faster. You just walk in carrying more weight. That weight only stays manageable if your income climbs faster than your repayments do. Now we hit the big one. $1 million. This is the new normal in Australia. The median. The thing your parents bought for $180,000, and you're now expected to afford on a regular salary. $1 million buys a standard family home. Middle Ring Brisbane. Outer Sydney. Most of Melbourne. Inner Perth. The better pockets of Adelaide. A 20% deposit is $200,000, plus close to $50,000 in stamp duty and costs in most states. The $800,000 loan runs about $4,790 a month at current rates. The bank wants to see household income around $180,000 to $200,000 a year. That's 2 full-time professionals, both earning well above the national average of roughly $110,000. Here's the uncomfortable part nobody on social media wants to say out loud. The median Australian household earns about $100,000 a year. That's half of what you now need to buy the median home. This is exactly why the typical household is now spending close to 46% of their income just servicing a new mortgage. It's why your friends look like they're earning well but somehow still seem stretched thin. The math simply doesn't work on one income anymore. There's also a generational split hiding inside this number. Australians who bought before 2015 are sitting on hundreds of thousands of dollars in equity. They're now using that equity as deposits for the next home, the investment property, or to help their kids buy in. Finally, the top tier, $2 million. This puts you in inner Sydney, where the median house price now sits above $1.28 million. Bayside and inner East Melbourne. Beachside Perth. The prestige pockets of Brisbane, where the median has climbed past $1.12 million. Waterfront Hobart. A 20% deposit is $400,000, plus around $100,000 in stamp duty in the pricier states. The $1.6 million loan costs roughly $9,580 a month. Banks want to see household income of at least $350,000 a year, often more once the safety buffer gets added. So who's actually buying these homes? Almost never two people on regular salaries. It's business owners, senior executives, investors pulling equity from properties they already own, doctors, lawyers, finance professionals, parents quietly running the bank of mum and dad, and a growing group of Australians who've built second incomes outside their day job through investing, side businesses, and assets that pay them every single month. That last group is the one worth watching closely. They're not earning their way into million-dollar homes. They're owning their way in. And that distinction might be the single most important money lesson in modern Australia. A salary gets taxed the second it lands in your account. Assets grow quietly in the background for years, often inside structures built specifically to compound wealth, in ways a payslip simply can't. Australia's property market has stopped rewarding income. It now rewards ownership. Your salary buys you a house in a regional town. 2 salaries buy you a suburban home with mortgage stress sitting on top. But ownership, businesses, dividend-paying shares, income-producing property, that's what actually moves people up the ladder while everyone else argues about whether the RBA will cut or hold at the next meeting. So which of the 4 people from the start of this video are you? If you take one thing from this video, make it this. The fastest way into a better home isn't chasing a bigger paycheck. It's building something you own. Start with $50 a week into an index fund. Start a small side business in the evenings. Sit down tonight and map out one income stream that doesn't depend on your job at all. Because in a country where the median house now costs more than 10 times the median income, and even a softer market still locks out most first-home buyers, relying on your wage alone simply isn't a strategy anymore. If this showed you exactly where you stand in Australia's housing market, hit the like button. If you're not subscribed yet, see you next.